Why mass shootings are a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Oh, do enlighten us, Ray. I can't wait to find out. Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I'm an atheist and skeptic, and I like to read the ramblings of Ray. Yes, come along with me as we ponder the depths of ignorance that is Ray Comfort. Here we go. So this post from Ray's was from February 15th of this year, and of course we have had a few mass shootings recently, don't we always, in this country? So let's hear what Ray has to say. When there were 2 mass shootings killing 18 people within 3 days of each other, I sent a text to our director of social media strategies suggesting that we produce a video about how mass murder was a sign of the end of the age. Oh my gosh. All right, that's where Ray's mind goes. That's where it goes. Yeah, we're not surprised, are we? He said it would be an important video, but recommended that we wait a while to show some sensitivity to the families of the victims. You think? You think? Good guy. I think this person has Ray's back. What do you think? I replied that there had been 39 mass shootings across the United States in the first 3 weeks of 2023. In other words, there wasn't going to be a gap for sensitivity. What I find interesting is Ray's mind doesn't go into worrying about the people or let's pray for the victims. No, he wants to do an end times video. All right, let's move on and see what the next paragraph brings. The horror of mass murder has become a part of daily living in modern America, and it is clearly not going to slow down anytime soon. Well, I'm glad you recognize the horror, but once again, it would be nice to think about the people that are suffering, the families. Anyway, here's where he goes next. There is no book like the Bible. You can't make it up, folks. That's the transition. We go from mass murder, it's not slowing down, to the Bible. All right. There is no book like the Bible. It is not only the #1 best-selling book of all time, it's also the world's most loved and arguably the world's most hated book. In a morally depraved world, it tells us right from wrong. Yeah, that's up for debate. It speaks to our origins, our purpose, why we die, and how to overcome death itself. Well, it purports to do all that. Whether or not it does any of that, I don't think it does. No other book comes anywhere near doing that, and then on top of all this, it is axiomatic. Axiomatic? Okay. That is, it establishes itself as God's word to humanity because of its amazing prophecies. How is that axiomatic? I don't get it. Only God knows the future, and he has given us the future in his word. I don't see how any of that is axiomatic. Does Ray know what axiomatic even means? I'm going to go with no. I don't think Ray knows what that means. All right, but we're going to move on because we can't contemplate this stuff forever. Look at the specificity of the words of Jesus when describing 2 of the signs of the end of this age. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Okay. Well, we're supposed to be looking at specificity of that, of describing the signs. I guess it's that the gospel will be preached in all the world, which, by the way, it's not. There are some places that it is not. Is it also that lawlessness abounds? That's always been the case. I hate to break it to Ray. It's not like this is something new. It's not like, let's say, in 1200, they were more lawful. Humanity is humanity. You just have to face that. I mean, we're living now, so we know what people do now, but it's just ridiculous to think that we're so different from a former time. All right. Again, can't contemplate this for too long. Let's go on and see where Ray goes next. It certainly is true that an abounding of lawlessness in contemporary society has made it easy to become callous, perhaps as a coping mechanism. Okay, I just have to note the irony of talking about people becoming callous because of the abounding of lawlessness, because Ray started out this whole post just imagining how he was going to turn the issue of gun control into a preaching maneuver. You talk about callous, not even a contemplation, a thought for the people who suffered, for the families who continue to suffer. So maybe even if you quote unquote are lawful, you're still callous because you're just so interested in your mission. Just saying. All right, then Ray goes on, the key to understanding this prophecy is in the word lawlessness. It is a direct reference to the 10 Commandments. Whoever commits sin also commits lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness. Well, that's like, your opinion man, or John's in this case. It's like John's opinion man, the dude. I don't think that those two things are connected at all. Is it a sin, for example, to run a red light or to speed? Oh yeah, I think Ray does think speeding. He had a story about a speedster. So maybe he thinks speeding is in fact a sin. Well, all right. But I don't agree. And I'm just going to say once again, I think it is Ray who was callous to the victims of shooting. All right, let's see where we go next with the 10 Commandments and lawlessness. The first commandment instructs us to make God the focus of our affections. I guess. I don't know if it's about affection. It's just you're supposed to worship God as before all the other gods. You don't have to have affection for this jealous Yahweh of the Old Testament. That certainly isn't the case in contemporary America, but only in America. Only in America. Maybe New Zealand. Maybe he should go back to New Zealand. Maybe in New Zealand, they still have God first in their affections. Anyway, but he lives in America now, so I get it. Instead, we have created a lawless God in our own image and violated the second. What? We created a lawless God? All right. Blasphemy has become part of the culture, and setting aside one day for rest is no longer practiced by most. Well, I blame that more on hustle culture and late capitalism. I don't think that that has anything to do with whether or not people want to abide by the 10 Commandments. And I don't know what the problem with blasphemy is. My God, come on. Come on, man. Parental honor has been undermined by the secular world. Has it? I still hear talk about parents' rights to do this and that and the other thing. I don't know. And murder in mass has become commonplace. Murder in mass. In mass, Ray. Like, are you thinking of murder in a Catholic church? I think Ray means en masse. E-N-M-A-S-S-E. En masse. But murder in mass. Oh, there's a lesser known Agatha Christie book, Murder in Mass. Anyway, Ray goes on. Adultery is no longer frowned upon, isn't it? I think people still frown upon adultery. I mean, frowning upon something is like the least bad thing you can kind of do to express your disapproval. I don't know if Ray is thinking that there are people who practice things like polyamory or they have agreements where they're not exclusive. I don't see any problem with that. But adultery, what adultery usually means is cheating. Like you're married and you have a commitment to this monogamous relationship and you have gone against your promise. But I don't know, does Ray think that we should put adulterers in jail? I don't think that's a good use of the law. I don't know. Theft and lying are rampant, and they have always been. And covetousness has become the catalyst. Oh, look at those big words, Ray. Look. The catalyst of successful advertising. More, bigger, and better is best. If I recall correctly, the covetousness of the 10 Commandments is not just about wanting stuff, which is what advertising is. And it's like, I'm not telling anybody, please, don't go out and just follow advertisers. I'm not telling anybody they should believe advertisers, because in my mind, advertisers often suggest a need that may or may not be there, and then they solve it. But the covetousness that are of the 10 Commandments is not to covet your neighbor's spouse, the wife, because who cares, in the other direction, what women are doing. And I believe it's your neighbor's belongings. But like, if you're just going to go buy something, like the Bible doesn't say like, oh, the 10 Commandments are against like wanting a bigger car or wanting a nicer phone or something like that. That it's a very specific kind of covetousness. So I think that, Ray, you gotta think about what you're saying here. But I get what he's doing here. This is all like, oh, we in this fallen world, everything is sin. Oh, woe is us. And like, buy my products. See, this is where Ray is the advertiser. Buy my products because I'm going to save you from burning in a lake of fire. All right, let's see where he goes next. Murder en masse. There are a number of reasons why this nation has abandoned the 10 Commandments. One of them is because in the last 20 or so years, there has been a concerted effort by atheists to rid this country of the commandments, capital C, and through intimidation and threats of lawsuits, they have been effective in doing that. Is he just talking about people wanting to remove the physical monuments of the 10 Commandments, which I believe goes back more than 20 years? I believe so. 20 or so. I guess that gives us lots of leeway. But the Supreme Court did say we can't have these monuments in the U.S. Atheists hate the moral law, and Christians, for the same reason criminals hate the police. Oh my God. Ray has used this analogy so often. First of all, I don't see how the 10 Commandments is a moral law. I don't see how thinking God is the first or the only deity and then not blaspheming. I don't see how that has anything to do with morality. I don't see how coveting, this thought crime of just desiring something, I don't see how that is moral. The lying and cheating and stealing and killing, I mean, that kind of stuff. Like those are some good ideas. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, that. But atheists just think that your symbol is not the way we want to represent the moral law. And by the way, I don't think of Christians as the police. I think of them a bunch of assholes who want to get in my life and tell me how to live. I don't think that the police are quite like that. Their venom was optimized on a t-shirt they produced, which said, "Too many Christians, not enough lions." That's about as culturally sensitive as too many Jews, not enough Nazis, or too many blacks, not enough lynching ropes. Oh, yeah, you and your dominance in our culture are the same as a minority being killed atrociously. This is just a bit of snark from a minority group, and to take this out of context, I even went online and I saw that there aren't that many t-shirts, but there are a couple of anecdotes. There's a preacher that goes to help some woman, and she has this t-shirt that says "Too many Christians, enough lions," and he identifies himself as a Christian, and now he's going to flex on his blog about how he faced the angry atheist, who actually wasn't angry. She was quite embarrassed that she was wearing that when the Christians helped her. But anyway, it's not even like, I can't even find that many instances of this. It's just a bit of snark from a minority group. I just want to point out that the Christians are not the minority group in our culture today. So yeah, this is a bit of black humor. You might say it's not in good taste, which is fine, but you can't compare Christians to Jews or blacks. No. You're not the victim in American culture. Sorry. So anyway, Ray goes on, "I was so annoyed by that shirt that I wrote a book called So Many Lions, So Few Daniels. It was written to inspire Christians to boldly stand up," split infinitive, "without compromise in a culture that hates God and his law." I wonder if to boldly stand up, if he's channeling Star Trek. I hope not. Please don't pollute Star Trek. Anyway, so this is what the point of this blog is. It really is to hawk your wares. I went and I looked up, and yes, Ray has this book coming out soon. This may be one of the whole reasons for this whole post. So many lions, so few Daniels, living without compromise in a world in need of truth. And look at this description. A spiritual shot in the arm for Christians feeling beaten down, burned out, or ready to give in. Like Daniel in Babylon, today's believers face moral compromise, the lure of earthly wealth and power, temptations, and more. Drawing on biblical examples, award-winning apologist Comfort helps you identify your lions and build a strategy for combating them. 192 pages, soft cover from Baker. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the lure of earthly wealth and power. Gee, Ray, who is lured in your community by earthly wealth and power? How many of the wealthy preachers are there? I'm going to look at a sample of this when this comes out, because this is due out soon in March of this year, and I'm going to try to look at a sample. But, you know, I've looked at some of Ray's other stuff. All I can say is I hope he had an editor. His stuff is just terrible. All right, let's go back to the blog post. All right, the next paragraph is just like a repeat. So it's lawlessness was one sign of an end of age, and then the gospel being preached. So we're going to skip that. Let's go on to the next paragraph. Did you know that on May 6th of this year, millions of people from around the world will converge on London for the coronation of King Charles III? Did you also know that we can play a part in fulfilling Bible prophecy? Not many realize that during the church service/coronation, Charles will lay his hand on the Bible and promise to uphold its truths. And this will be witnessed on television and on the internet. In other words, the world is going to church. Yeah, probably not the kind of church you want to go to. I mean, this is Church of England. It's not everybody's church. It's not like Catholic Church, for example. Anyway, just as the Apostle Paul quoted Greek poets as a bridge to reach his Athenian hearers, so we are going to use the coronation as a bridge to reach millions with the gospel. Thousands of Christians have already committed to go to London and give out memorabilia, gospel tracts to the millions who will line the streets to celebrate the coronation of a king. What does any of this have to do with gun deaths in the United States? En masse. All right, let's just finish this up. When I first thought of this outreach, I made a short video and sent it to my team. As I then sat at my computer, I received an email from someone asking what I was presently working on. So I sent him the video, and he sent the ministry $200,000. Oh man, I'm in the wrong line of business. I should become a preacher. I should become a Ray Comfort, Rayina. I showed someone else the video and they sent us $100,000. Oh my God, just for a video. Just for some dumb video with some dumb, whatever, pound sterling or whatever it is. Ugh. We are therefore able to make these beautifully designed tracks free of charge, along with free shipping. Be a Daniel. Be a part of Bible prophecy. And watch this short video for details. Be a part of Bible prophecy by littering in London this summer when Charles III is crowned King of England. Oh, I just want to remind everybody that we were promised an understanding of why the Bible predicted gun deaths, and it didn't show up. I mean, lawlessness, okay. But I don't think it's mainly atheists, for example, who are these shooters. I think there are plenty of Christians among these shooters. And I didn't see anything else about gun deaths at all. We went from, oh, there are these gun deaths, we should use that as a preaching opportunity, with no feeling for the people involved at all. Then we went to how great the Bible is and how the Bible prophesied the end times. Which was not very convincing to me. I don't know if anybody else felt convinced by the fact that, oh, Bible going to be preached in the future and lawlessness. There's always been lawlessness. The Bible's been preached for a long time. Just not very convincing stuff. And then we've got a hawking of Ray's book and then these pamphlets. So I guess my conclusion is this post exists with this promise about guns and helping us understand the present times. It exists to sell books and to get people buying these pamphlets, which will drive up more traffic to Ray's site, which might sell some more products. That's it. So what do you think? Are you convinced that we're in the end times because Ray Comfort said guns and lawlessness and nobody paying attention to the Ten Commandments? You plan on going to London to pass out some tracts this summer? Let us know in the comments. And while you're down there, like, subscribe, and do all the YouTube stuff. You're on YouTube. You know what to do. And if you like what I do, you can support me by buying a coffee. See you in the next one. That's all for today. Bye.